Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Amanda. I am a neurodivergent woman. I have autism, ADHD, aphantasia, which is the inability to visualize or experience any of the senses in my mind, and a very rare memory disorder called SDAM, which means basically that I don't have personal memories. I talk about all of these on my channel, so check out some of the older videos and please hit subscribe so that you can keep current with new videos that come out. Today, I want to talk a little bit about autism, ADHD, and executive functioning. So the definition according to Harvard is executive functioning and self-regulation skills are the mental process that enable us to plan, focus attention, remember, and juggle tasks. I'm laughing at the remember because not only do I have ADHD, I also, like I said, have that memory disorder. So my memory is just like not very good. Sometimes I really have to process the fact that I forget to give myself credit as a human being for doing as well as I'm doing in life with the difficulties as an undiagnosed adult for most of my life. Like, I knew I had memory issues my whole life, but I didn't have any kind of vocabulary to describe them until I turned 38 and just happened to read about SDAM on I think it was a Facebook post. And it was like, there's a name for my condition. And then I got diagnosed autism ADHD at 42. So part of the unmasking process. So, okay, back up. When you have a undiagnosed autistic or ADHD person, they do something called masking. And basically what that means is that it is our way of just trying to survive. We don't have a diagnosis. We don't have words or language to understand why we are processing the world so vastly different than the people around us. But we do experience life differently. And so we chameleon our way, we mimic, we see an actress on TV handle a social situation in a certain way, we catalog that, and when that situation comes up, we kind of emulate it. This is, masking kind of boiled down. And a lot of times, if you have an undiagnosed autistic person and they seem like they are different people in different situations, that's kind of the reason why, because we don't get to know who we are, what our preferences are, what our emotions are. We are gaslit through our entire life, being told that our sensory experiences are not valid over and over and over. In my life, when I would say something is too loud, too bright, or too cold, the people around me who did not experience the senses that extreme as me, as an autistic person, would tell me, oh, you're just being too sensitive. It's not that loud. It's not that bright, things like that. And over time, you just desensitize yourself and believe them. And in a way, kind of just experience a dissociation to the point where I I'm going through the process right now of even trying to identify true emotions. A lot of times when people ask me what I'm feeling, I honestly struggle with the answer because I've disassociated from my emotions so much over the years. So part of the unmasking process is this executive functioning is showing up for me, because as a masked individual, not only out in public, but even in the privacy of my own home, because I took on the role of a stay-at-home mom and I masked what that meant to me by reading people's Facebook posts and seeing Instagram and that perfect stay-at-home mom who does everything, has a perfect house, perfect, laundry schedule. And I would struggle because I knew I wasn't perfect. I would struggle so bad because it was so hard. And I would put on the persona of having it all together because I was masking and did not realize it. So I pushed through and would do things beyond what my mental capacity should have done, which leads to autistic burnout. So I would then just crash and have days where it was like, I can't do anything. Over time, as I got older, I kind of noticed this pattern about myself. So I would plan down days, which is good. It's a good coping technique. I would like look at my calendar, schedule out, and say, okay, on this Saturday, I'm specifically not going to plan anything so that I literally can do nothing and stay in bed. And I would call them pajama days, and I actually put them down in my calendar and planned for basically, mental health days. But I didn't know it was because I wasn't managing my mental health on all the previous days. Instead of saying, okay, today is a low executive functioning day. I cannot do all of the tasks because my sensory needs are too high. I'm just going to do this. I would just go and go and go until I reach burnout. Or luckily, like I said, with my pattern, I had planned burnout days. This is my coping technique. Well, now that I am starting to unmask and I'm starting to see these behaviors and I'm trying to manage my mental health because I don't want to have burnout, and I'm trying to both my kids are also autistic, so we're trying to learn together so that they don't kind of have a life of autistic burnout as an option. I am noticing now the days where my executive functioning is not at its peak. And there's been days, and I was talking about this with my therapist. I don't know if it's because of my memory disorder and aphantasia or if this is common with other autistic people. But it's like, because now I've become aware of this as an experience, I'm losing access of how I used to just push through. It's like now I know that's what I used to do and it wasn't healthy. It's like my body's just not even giving me that as an option. So, for instance, like last Friday, I sat right here on this couch and like I pushed out a lot of content. Like I think I did a bunch of TikTok videos because that's what my brain was focusing on. So here's the other thing that people do not understand about executive functioning, especially with autistic ADHD people. Sometimes it looks like the person is being extremely functional. Like if you're not in autistic burnout where you just can't do anything, okay, so that's a difference. Like once you reach burnout, you often will get misdiagnosed with depression because you want to sleep. But when you start to manage your executive functioning days, I actually got a lot done on Friday. It just wasn't the things that I wanted to do on my to-do list. So I wanted, as part of running a household, to clean my kitchen, do some laundry, and there's like some dusting and things like that that needed to just happen, for basic house maintenance. I wanted to do those things because I like living in a clean house. But my brain was like, no, we want to create social media content. Because right now, and I've made another video about this, social media is my special interest. Learning about autism and then creating content for social media is my special interest. And an autistic person needs to do their special interest, whatever it is, whether it's studying rocks, crocheting, yoga, like special interest can like be as varied as all the topics on this planet. But most, not all, autistic and ADHD people have special interest, and doing the special interest resets our brain and balances it regulates our system. And so on Friday, when I had a to-do list of things that grown up, responsible, masking neurotypical Amanda, society's expectations wanted me to do, but autistic Amanda in the autistic body was like, special interest, let's do special interest. Let's make our brain go happy, 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 and give endorphins and dopamine and make my brain go bloop, 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 happy, happy, happy. And the thing is, though, like, I let myself do that. So on Friday, I made several TikToks, bunch of Instagrams. I posted a video, I think on this channel. And then on Saturday, I think because I allowed myself to, one, just pay attention to my executive functioning and be like, brain does not want to do these things. Brain wants to do these things, And I did these things on Saturday. Oh my gosh, guys, my executive functioning was like sky high. I like, oh, I need to clean the kitchen. I cleaned the kitchen. Oh, there's a dusty windowsill. I did the thing. Like, I was on fire that day. And I'm not going to say that's always going to happen. I don't know. I'm still new to this unmasking process. I'm just kind of, as I've done since the beginning of this channel, kind of reporting and vlogging my experience and kind of just noting things out loud and paying attention and seeing if you relate to some of the things that I'm experiencing. And I'm hoping that some of my insight might kind of trigger some awareness in you, and we can continue the conversation down in the comments, because it's very interesting. Research in female late diagnosed is just at its beginning. So if we can, talk about our lived experiences and, see what works for each of us. Before I wrap up this video, I just want to summarize that, especially because I like to always try to talk to, if you are a family member of somebody who's autistic, try to understand that executive functioning is not something that we can control. There are days where our sensory input or whatever other stimulation is just so high that we cannot do the things that we want to do. Sometimes it's even task switching, going from, like, we can do one thing and then we take a break, and then to restart to do that next thing is just impossible for us that day. So you got to understand that. You got to give us time to reset our brains, give us time to do our special interest. That's one technique. There are other ones that I've also found useful, such as something called body doubling, which I'll do in a whole nother video. There are definitely techniques that people in the autistic community and ADHD community have been finding, because autism and ADHD are disabilities, but they are not excuses. Like, I still want to be a member of society, and I want to find ways so that I can participate in society and be a happy member. Notice I'm not saying productive. I think our society puts way too much emphasis on productivity. I think there's ways to contribute and be part of a functioning society. And I'm not going to go into too much detail about that, because this is something that I am unlearning from growing up in a capitalistic society, and I don't have the answers on it. But I do know that there is an answer, and there is an answer for disabled people to be part of a functioning society without productivity being the measurement of success. We can be a participating member and a valued member without having our value measured on how much we produce. Because I know that I have a lot to offer. I'm learning how to share that with others. I'm trying to be precise with my words, because like I said, I'm still unlearning concepts that were taught to me as a child. And it's a process, and I'm part of the process. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. I hope to see you on the next video. And until then, bye.